Hello student, again this is Professor Amoles Kalekar from Department of Computer Science CMCS Yotmal. In today's session, we are going to discuss the unit number 4 of Distributed Database System, and the title of this unit number 4 is Distributed File System. Students, the major topic of our today's discussion are the first one, that is the distributed file system implementation, and within that we will focus on the file uses and the system structure. So students, let's start our discussion with some of the introductory points as far as this distributed file system is concerned. So as we know that the data in the distributed system is bifurcated across the several sites, across the several nodes, and each of these sites are interconnected with each other with the help of communication links, or you can say with the help of network. So whenever one terminal wants to just access the data from the another, definitely the communication can be taken place by exchange of messages over the network. ओके सो इस हिसाब से अगर सभी साइट पे अगर डेटा स्टोर रहता है, देन इट शुड बी possible in order to maintain the data in each of the sites in the reliable as well as the consistent manner. And for the sense, you should have to best possibly organize all kinds of data or the records that resides on the local disk of each of the sites, and this can be done with the help of the file system, or you can say with the help of file organization. So students, when we are just implementing the distributed file system, earlier we have seen about the most various aspects of the distributed file system from the user's perspective, that is how they appear to the users, and now we are supposed to see how these systems or the distributed file system is actually implemented. So the first point in this section is the file users. Before implementing any system, it is quite useful to have the good idea of how it will be used in the future cases. For this reason, Satyanarayanan in 1981 made a comprehensive study of the file users patterns. Some of the measurements that are studied by the Satyanarayan are the static in nature, that is, they represent the snapshot of the system at the given interval of time. The static measurements are made by examining the disk to see what is on it at that current time. मतलब डिस्क को एग्जामिनिंग किया जाता है या फिर उसका एनालिसिस किया जाता है कि एग्जैक्टली उस डिस्क पे किस टाइप का डेटा स्टोर किया है, और उसके हिसाब से ये कैलकुलेशंस या फिर मेजरमेंट्स को कवर किया जाता है. ओके, now these measurements will include the distribution of the file size, then after the type of the file, and the amount of storage that has been occupied by the files of the various types as well as of the various sizes. Other measurements, they are dynamic in nature, made by modifying the file system to record all kinds of operation on a log or the subsequent or for the future analysis. This data yield the information, that is a relative frequency of the various operations, the number of files open at the given moment or the interval of time, and the amount of sharing that takes place over there. When we are doing all these things, one problem that always occurs with the measurements of any existing system is knowing how typical the observed user population is. Another problem that can persist is inherent in making the measurements is watching out for the artifacts of the system being measured. As a simple example, when looking at the distribution of the file names in the MS-DOS system, again each of the files that has been named in the MS-DOS should contain at least 8 characters as a name. मतलब ज्यादा से ज्यादा आप 8 कैरेक्टर वाला ही नाम किसी भी MS DOS के फाइल को दे सकते हैं, उससे ज्यादा या फिर बड़ा नाम आप उसको दे नहीं सकते हैं. ओके, फाइनली द सत्यनारायण's measurements made on more or less on the traditional Unix system. Again, whether or not they can be transferred or exported to the distributed system is still not known. So some of the observed file system properties are, first one is most files are small, that is the size might be less than 10K. Then after, reading is much more common than that of writing. Reads and writes are sequential, means they are in the serial manner, they are not done in the random manner, or if they are done, then it is quite in a rare situation. Then after, most files have the short lifetime. Again, the file sharing is unusual. The average process uses only few files, and finally, the distinct file classes with the different properties does exist. So these are some of the observed file system properties. Okay. Now, जो next point आता है वो है system structure. So in some system, there is no distinction in between the clients and the servers. All machines run the same basic software. So any machine that wants to offer the file service to the public at a large is free to do so. Again, offering the file service is just a matter of exporting the names of the selected directories so other machines can access to them in the easy and convenient manner. In other system, conversely, the file servers and the directory servers are just the user's program, so a system can be configured to run the clients as well as the server software on the same machine or not as per their requirement, as per the situation. And finally, at the extreme are the systems in which the clients and the servers are fundamentally on the different machines, either in terms of the hardware or in terms of the software. Okay. Now, these servers may even run on a different versions of the operating system from the clients. Then after, the second implementation issue on which the system differ is how the file and the directory server is structured. One organization that can be used is to combine the two into a single server that will handle all the directory and the file call itself. And another possibility is to keep them in the totally at the different manner or totally separate to each other. For an example, consider the case of separate directory and the file servers for the moment. In normal case, the clients will send the symbolic name to the directory server, which in turn will return the binary name that the file server understands. However, it is possible for a directory hierarchy to be partitioned among the multiple servers as well. Okay. Now, with the help of this figure, you can see the differences, means how we can locate a file on a single server or on the multiple server, again by using the automatic lookup or by using the manual lookup. Okay, so suppose for example, we have a system in which the current directory on server 1 contains an entry A for another directory on server 2. ये अपना example है. Similarly, this directory will contain an entry B for a directory on server 3. Then the third directory contains an entry for a file C along with its own binary name. So in order to look up A oblique B oblique C, that is the path in this manner, the client sends a message to the server 1 which manages its current directory. The server will find A, but says that the binary name refers to the another server. In this situation, it can either tell the client which server to hold a B and have the client look up B and C there itself. Okay. The final structural issue is that can be considered here whether or not a file, directory and the other server should maintain the state information about the client. This issue is moderately quite controversial, which two competing schools might thought in the different manner, and there are the two different thoughts that are in the current existence. One school thinks the server should be stateless. That is, in other words, when a client sends a request to a server, the server will carries out the request and send the reply, and then after will remove it from its internal tables all the information about the request. Between this request, no client specific information will be kept on the server. Okay. And finally, with the stateful server, if a client crashes in between the file is open, the server will be in the bind situation. It will die, it will do nothing. Its tables will be eventually filled up with the junk in this situation. If it times out or inactive files or open files, then a client that happens to wait for a long time, request will be refused the service and the current program will be failed to the fractions correctly. And the stateless will eliminate such types of problems. So students, we will see some of the advantages, or you can say the comparative study in between the stateless and the testful servers. Okay, so about the advantages of the stateless servers are, first one is the fault tolerance. Then after, the second one is no open close calls are needed over here. Then after, no server space wanted on the tables. Then after, no limits on the number of open files, and finally no problem if the client crashes. Conversely, the advantages of the stateful servers are shorter request messages, then after better performance, then after file locking is quite possible. So comparatively, we are having some of the advantages of the stateful as well as the stateless server. Okay, so students, these are the various topic as far as the file implementation is concerned. In that, we have seen the file uses and the system structure. Okay, thank you.